Okay, hi again, everyone. So just to recap on the props, your alpha ball you need, a couple of blocks, your bolster, and a cushion or a blanket in case you get a little cool. So let's lie down. We'll start lying down and just make sure your alpha ball is within arm's reach. Okay, so we'll start in constructive rest pose, and that is laying down with your knees bent and have your feet as wide as your mat and let the knees come together. Rest your hands on your low belly and draw the shoulders down away from your ears. Feel the shoulder blades resting flat on your mat. If it's more comfortable to have the knees separated with the feet hip distance apart, you can do that. Some of you might find that more comfortable, but otherwise you can just let the knees come together, feet wide. And let's start with a few deep breaths. Breathe in through your nose. Open the mouth, let it go with a sigh. Inhale. Open the mouth, exhale. And one more time. And let go of your day. Let go of whatever's to come after your practice. And feel yourself present in this space, on your mat, and in your body. Turn your gaze inward. Begin to connect with your breath. Just feel your hands as they rise and fall with the movement of your belly. Connecting with the earth, connecting with your body, with your heart, and with your mind. Feel the mind letting go of the need to control, to be in charge, and surrender to the wisdom and the guidance of your heart. Tuning into your heart space. And let your heart run the show. When we do this, we allow universal love to enter our body, to enter the earth, to bring health and a higher consciousness to our organs, our systems, our cells. Feel your whole body breathing. Feel all your cells breathing. And let's find our alpha ball. And we'll place the alpha ball under the head, right in at the base of the skull where the neck joins the skull. So the ball goes right at the base of the skull. It's called the nuchal crest. There's a bump. You can feel this bump at the base of the skull, and that's where the ball goes. And we'll just be here for a minute or so. If for whatever reason this doesn't feel good, or it just feels uncomfortable for whatever reason, just take the ball out and continue to just be in your constructive rest pose with the head on the floor. Continuing to breathe and settle into your body. This is a point on the spine that helps to activate the rest and digest response, your parasympathetic nervous system. Letting your breath be a little deeper than usual, extending your inhale, extending your exhale. Relax your jaw, relax your face, your eyes. Take 2 more breaths. And lift your head, take the ball out from under the head, and just rest the ball on your belly for a moment and take a couple of breaths. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Toe, heel, toe your feet back to hip distance apart. Press down into the feet, lift your hips, and we'll slide the ball onto the sacrum. So make sure it's not in your lumbar spine. It's just above the tailbone. So position the ball there, middle of your sacrum, and just balance your body here on the ball and take a few deep breaths. Deep abdominal breaths. This is the other point on the spine that helps to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, starting to help slow the body down. And let's shift the hips over to the right, so the ball travels to the left. And then shift the hips over to the left, ball travels to the right. And just keep moving from side to side across your sacrum. Going nice and slow. And come back to center, lift your hips, remove the ball, and release the hips to the floor, extend the legs, just relax here with your legs straight for a moment and take a breath or two. Bend the knees, roll over to your side, and press all the way up. Okay, so we'll come into a simple supported back bend. So you can just move your alpha ball out of the way and find your bolster. Okay, so place your bolster about midway down your mat. So it's not up at the top. You want it about in the middle of your mat. And find one of your blocks and place it behind the bolster. So this is for your head. You can always move it to a lower height or even the lowest height, depending on the size of your bolster. But start on the highest height. You can always move it lower. So the bolster is going to support your upper back and the block is supporting your head. So just line yourself up so that your upper back is supported by the bolster, and you want the shoulders to drape down over the top edge of the bolster to feel that nice opening across your heart. And the knees can stay bent, or you can straighten the legs. If you feel like it's possible in your body to lower the block, you can do that. And that just gives you a little more of a back bend. So the bolster is there to support you. If you don't have a bolster, you can always use a block on the medium height underneath the upper back. Now let your upper back release down into the bolster. Your prop is there to support you. So surrender your body weight to your bolster or your block and tune into your heart. So bringing a balance between your heart and your mind by listening to your heart. We always listen to our minds, so I'll bring some balance and listen to our heart today in our practice. Relax your shoulders, relax the arms, the hands. And breathe. Relax your jaw. Relax your whole head onto the block. Let it support your whole head. Just feel a release across the whole front side of your body. Release the back body into the earth. Take 3 more breaths. Okay, so listen carefully. I'm going to start by bending the knees and place your feet flat on the floor. You're going to lift your head off your block, move the block off to the side, and start to move your shoulders and your head down onto the mat. So, and then you'll lift your hips once your shoulders are on the floor, lift your hips and slide the bolster to your low back. So not under your hips, but right under the low back. Pick up your feet and extend the heels to the sky. So make sure your low back is supported and the arms can just rest comfortably at your sides or on your belly, and just rotate. You can't see my ankles, but I'm rotating them. Rotate the ankles one way and then the other way. Point and flex your feet. And just bend and straighten the knees. Make any movements that feel good in your legs. Bicycle the legs out. Okay. And then we'll start to move the legs towards the chest, any amount. So the fronts of the thighs are coming towards the body. Maybe your hips come up off the bolster, maybe not. The knees can be bent, that's okay too. But the purpose of this is to stretch through the whole backs of the legs and maybe even through the spine, depending on how close your toes are to the floor. So you can even come further if you like and lift your hips off the floor and bring your toes to the floor or just closer to the floor. But this isn't necessary. You can always just bring your hips back down if that feels like too much. Just feeling some compression in your belly. Relax your upper back. Relax the arms and the shoulders. Notice how this pose affects your breathing. And notice how it quiets the mind. Let's take 3 more breaths. If your toes are on the floor and your hips are off the bolster, slowly start to bring the hips back. Start to bring the legs back up away from the chest. Bend one knee, bend the other knee. Bring one foot to the floor and then the other foot. And then we'll lift the hips up and move the bolster so it's under the sacrum. So right behind the buttocks so that your pelvis is supported. And then go ahead and straighten one leg, maybe straighten the other leg. If your bolster is quite high and you want to switch to a block, you can always use a block. The block might be harder, but your bolster might be a little higher than you're used to. This can be done one leg at a time if it feels like too much of a stretch through your front body or too deep of a stretch through the lumbar spine. I'll let you know when we're halfway through so that you can swap legs. And bring your awareness back to your breath. Feeling your low belly rise and fall with your breathing. Relax the hips down into your prop. Relax your face. If you're doing this one leg at a time, you can switch legs. Keep your attention on your breathing and on your heart. Three more breaths. Slowly start to bend one knee, place the foot on the floor. Slowly bend the other knee, foot on the floor. Let's lift the hips again and bring the bolster high under the low back once more. And we'll take Happy Baby. And it's quite nice to have the bolster supporting the hips in Happy Baby. So pick up your feet and catch the outside edges of your feet, or hook your elbows behind the knees, or catch your ankles, your choice. Just having the ankles stacked over your knees and then the knees moving towards the floor on either side of your rib cage. So nice, deep, even, soft breaths here. And just keep drawing the knees down towards the floor. And slowly start to release your legs and bring the feet down to the floor. So we'll come off the bolster soon, but not yet. Lift the hips, move the bolster underneath the sacrum. We'll do some uh, supine hip flexor work. So draw your right knee in towards your chest and see if you can straighten the left leg and have the heel on the floor. If that feels too intense, just keep the knee bent and do what you can. The leg doesn't have to stay straight, but that's just what you're working towards. So your hands are interlaced around the front of your shin. And take some nice deep breaths here. And if for whatever reason the bolster doesn't feel good here, you can always do this without the bolster. So make any adjustments you need to make so that you feel safe, that you feel comfortable, and use the props accordingly. Move your knee a little more to the right, so just changing the position slightly and keep drawing the knee in towards the body. And we'll slowly release. Release the right foot to the floor and we'll do the other side. Hug the left knee in towards the chest and work towards straightening the right leg so the heel is on the floor. But if this is too deep of a stretch through your right hip flexors, just keep the knee as bent as you need to. And breathe. Breathing into the right hip flexors. So an unloaded dragon pose. Move your knee, your left knee, a little more to the left. And then draw the knee in towards the body. Slightly different position. And breathe. And slowly start to release your left foot to the floor. Bend the right knee. And before we take the bolster out, squeeze your glutes as if you're about to lift your hips, but don't. And then release. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release. And then lift your hips, slide the bolster out, bring your hips to the floor, lengthen the legs, and take a rest here. And breathe. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give your low back a little massage. Rock from side to side. Make some circles with your knees one way and circle the other way. Good. And then you can just flip over onto your belly. Okay, so let's reach the right arm out to the side. So the hand is at shoulder height. And then begin to use your left hand and start to press yourself over onto your right side body. If you need a block or something under your head, I'm actually going to grab something. If you've got a cushion, it makes it a little bit more comfortable. So looking away from the right arm, plant your left fingertips under the head of the shoulder and start to move your body carefully over onto the right side and begin with stacked legs, stacked knees. And feeling a stretch through the front of your shoulder, your anterior deltoid. And just to take a little bit of pressure off the shoulder joint, imagine your right shoulder blade moving towards the front of the body. So that just transfers a bit of weight to your pectoral muscle and takes the weight and the pressure off the shoulder joint. Option to step the top foot, so the left foot behind the right leg, and allow the weight of that leg to twist your spine a little more, maybe even reach the arm up to the sky and reach behind you. So that just deepens the stretch through the right shoulder and the right arm, creates more of a twist in the spine. And breathe. Relax your face. And if your left hand is behind you, just bring the arm back in front. Slowly bring the other leg on top of your right leg and begin to roll over, back over onto the belly. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead on your hands and take a rest. One more breath. Let it out through the mouth. And we'll do the other side. So reach your left arm out to the side. Hand is palm facing down and at shoulder height. Bring your cushion or your blanket under your head, looking over to the right, and plant your right fingertips into the floor. Start to move yourself onto your left side, feeling a pull through the left shoulder, left arm. And start with your feet, your knees, hips stacked. And that same action with your left shoulder blade this time. Move it towards the front of your body. Make sure your low back feels safe. Anchor the tailbone down towards your heels. Maybe bend the knees if that feels better for your back. Option to raise the right fingertips towards the sky, reach behind your low back. Maybe step the right foot behind the left leg and just move your back body towards the floor behind you a little more. But you don't have to do this. You can stay with your legs stacked. This is just an option if you want more sensation. One more deep breath. Bring your right arm back to front. Return your right leg on top of the left leg and slowly start to come back over onto your belly and make a pillow with your hands. Rest your head on your hands and take a few breaths to relax. Okay, so we're going to do a new pose. I don't think any of you have done this pose before. So there, you can use a bolster. So I'm going to show you without the bolster first, and then with the bolster. So grab a block, and I would place it on the medium height. And so what we're going to be doing is laying on the belly, but having the arms crossed like this. So we're stretching the upper back, opening through the upper back. And it can be kind of an intense pose, so that's why there's an option to use the bolster. So make sure that when the block is positioned, that your forehead can land on it. And then we'll slide, let's start with the right arm behind the left. So slide the right hand behind the left elbow and move it all the way over. And then slide the left arm all the way over. And just see how far you can move the hands away from each other and then release the head to your block. And this feels good for me, but everybody's body is different. So if this just doesn't work in your body, I'll show you how to use the bolster. So the bolster goes under your chest and your head still rests on the block. So rest the bolster under your chest. Find that same position with your arms. So right arm behind the left. And that just takes the weight a little bit out of the arms. So find whatever position works for you. And we'll only stay here for a maximum of 2 minutes because it is a new pose. And know that you can always come out early if this just doesn't feel good in your body. And you can stretch between the shoulder blades in a different way, taking eagle arms, or even taking child's pose. So we're stretching the fronts of the shoulders now, or sorry, the backs of the shoulders. We did the anterior deltoid, now we're doing the back of the shoulder. Take 3 more breaths. Very slowly start to move the hands back towards each other. Move your block to the side for a moment and take a rest. So just rest in any way that feels good for you. Relax the arms, relax your back, your head. Okay, and so we'll do the other side. We'll come back up. And if you found that your block was a little too high, you can move it to the lowest height. So just position your block Make sure your head, when you put your head down, the forehead is going to be supported. So this time the left hand comes behind the right elbow and start to move the hand as far away as you can from your body, and the same with the right. So this pose is called bow tie. So just snuggling the arms together as much as you can, using the bolster under your chest or not, and just feeling a stretch through the right shoulder and through the upper back. Make sure you feel safe in this pose. If for whatever reason you need to come out, if your arms feel a bit tingly, just release the pose. Come back in when you're ready. Or skip this pose altogether. We're only in here for 1 more minute. Relax your face, relax your jaw. Take one more breath. Very slowly, very carefully, start to move your elbows back towards the center line of your body and move your block out of the way and take a rest. Relax the arms wherever they're comfortable alongside the body. Make a pillow with your hands, whatever feels good. Okay. Start to transition into an upright position. So you can roll over to one side and just press yourself up. And let's take caterpillar. So we'll stretch the whole back side of the body. Use a bolster under your thighs if you like. It's quite nice to use a bolster under the thighs. And then just separate the legs. And when you fold forward, you're folding forward between the legs. You can use a block to land on if you like. You don't have to use the bolster. Just an option makes it a little different, a little more comfy. So find your position and fold forward. Just relax the arms out in front, either between the legs or on either side of the legs, whatever works for your body, what feels the most comfortable. Relax your feet. Relax your legs. Relax your whole head and your neck. Muscles on either side of your spine. Relax the whole face. Let everything melt and sink. Maybe remove one of your props or lower the height of your prop and come a little deeper. We'll be here for 1 more minute, so make any adjustments you want to make or stay exactly as you are. Turn your palms to face down, and we're going to move very slowly. So pushing your hands into the floor, moving in triple slow motion. Slowly walk the hands back towards your hips. And when you get to the top, just roll the shoulders back. Take a few breaths. And we'll lay down. So move your bolster off to the side. So if you like to use a prop for your twist, just have a block or a bolster next to you. Lay down and take a rest. Just take a few deep breaths here and feel the release of your forward fold. Okay, and so we'll prepare for our final pose before Shavasana, our twist. So bend the knees, feet flat on the floor. Lift your hips and slide your hips over to the left. Lift up your feet and guide your legs over to the right. So you can land on a block or you can land on the floor. So use as much or as little support as you like. Arms come to a T shape. And make any modifications that you like to make to your twist. That could be just tucking the top leg over the bottom leg to add a bit more weight into the leg to deepen the twist. I like to do scissoring the knees apart. So the top knee comes higher, the bottom knee comes lower. And breathe here. Also fine to just keep your knees stacked and to use support underneath the legs. And you can look towards your left fingertips if you like to complete your twist. And guiding the left shoulder towards the floor. Breathing into your belly and feeling that ringing action through the belly area, through the spine. And notice if you're holding on to any tension. So just relax your legs and relax your feet and your toes. Relax the arms, the shoulders, the back, the head. And just let your body be limp and relaxed. Notice if any tension starts to come back into the body and soften, let go. Take a few deep breaths if you need to help let go of tension. Take 2 more deep breaths. Slowly and carefully start to unwind. Bring your knees back to center, hips back to center, and give your body a nice long stretch. Stretch out the hips, stretch out the spine. And relax. And let's do the other side. Lift your hips, move your hips over to the right, lower them down, lift the feet, and guide the legs over to the left. Finding your spinal twist and making any adjustments you like to make to your twist. Keeping it simple with knees stacked or making it a little deeper using whatever modification you like. Arms are in a T shape or a cactus shape. And notice where you feel sensation in the body. Feeling an opening across the heart, compression in the belly, a stretch through the low back and the hip, the right glute, and focus on your breathing. Relax the thighs, relax the legs. If you want to add a bit of extra weight to your right knee, you can just add the weight of your hand to the outer knee. Relaxing your face, relax the jaw, the space between your eyebrows. On your next inhale, slowly start to unwind your spine, moving one knee at a time. Bring your feet back to the floor, bring your hips back to center, and stretch your spine out. Lengthen the spine after the twist. Feeling space in between each of the vertebrae and the spine. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Release the low back. Rock from side to side. Make circles one way. And circles the other way. Whenever you feel ready, you can set yourself up for our final pose in Shavasana. Sliding a bolster under your knees if you like, sliding a cushion under your head. Find a blanket or an extra layer if you're feeling a little cool. And make yourself as comfortable as you can. The feet and the knees fall away from each other. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears and move the shoulder blades in towards the spine. And feeling the shoulder blades resting flat on your mat. Let the lips part slightly. And begin with the toes and relax your toes. Relax the tops of your feet, the soles of your feet. Relax your ankles, your shins, calves. Relax your knees, your thighs, all four sides of your thighs. Relax your hips and your glutes. Feel the pelvis heavy on the floor. Soften your low belly, your abdomen. Soften the chest and the heart. Relax the low back, the mid back, the upper back. Relax your shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, tops of the hands, palms of the hands, fingers and thumbs. Relax all four sides of your neck, the back, the sides, your throat. Let the jaw be slack. Relax your inner ears, the muscles around your eyes. Let the eyes fall back to the back of your head. Let the brain rest at the back of your skull. Soften the whole head. Relax your whole body. Your whole body. Slowly begin to come back to the room, come back into your body. Deepen your breath slowly and gently. Just take your time coming back. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rock your head from side to side. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. A few times one way, a few times the other way. Give yourself one last long stretch. Reach the arms above the head. Interlace the fingers. Turn the palms away from you and reach through the heels and the palms. And on your next exhale, roll over onto your right side. And just linger here. Take a couple of breaths. And slowly start to make your way up into a comfortable seat. Sit up on your bolster or a cushion and let the sit bones sink down into the earth, feeling that connection to the earth. Connect with your breath. Notice the space and the energy in your body. Sit up nice and tall through the spine. Check in with your heart space. Let's place our hands over our heart. Letting your heart speak to you now and for the rest of the day. Feeling a balance between your mind and your heart. A balance in your whole being. Let's rub the hands together. Make a little fire between your palms. And cup your palms over your eyes. And release the hands down the face and the neck, back to your heart. Lift up the heart and bow your head to your heart. The light in me bows to the light in you. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. Namaste.